Today we're taking you on a full tour of Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas. Built in 2003 and massively amplified in 2018, Mariner is one of Royal Caribbean's older ships. But here's the question. In a world of the Icon class and Oasis class ships, does this old Voyager class ship still hold up in 2026? After spending 4 nights on board, we're going to show you what we loved, what we didn't, and whether we'd sail her again. For a ship that entered service in 2003, I thought the Royal Promenade was fantastic. No, it's not nearly as large as the Oasis or Icon class ships, but it has so much character. There's plenty of natural light, plenty of activities, and everything is easy to find. Cafe Promenade was one of our favorite places. The ship doesn't have a separate Sorrento's location, but pizza and snacks are available right there, and we never encountered long lines. Playmakers Sports Bar sits right across from Cafe Promenade, and the atmosphere during the NBA Finals was electric. Sailing out of Galveston, there were tons of San Antonio Spurs fans on board, and when they won the game that evening, everyone was celebrating. It was one of those moments that reminds you how fun cruising can be. The casino is just downstairs, shopping's right there, guest services is nearby, and everything feels connected and is easy to navigate. For an older ship, I thought that Royal Promenade was excellent. It was extremely hot during our cruise, so honestly, we didn't spend a ton of time up on the top pool decks, but there were plenty of loungers available, and we never had time finding chairs. The Solarium was peaceful and beautiful. Now, because this is a smaller ship, don't expect the giant pool decks you'll find on Oasis-class ships. But for the size of this ship, I thought that the atmosphere was excellent. The lime and coconut was lively and fun, and the overall vibe around the pools was very enjoyable. This was one area where Mariner surprised me. For a ship built in 2003, the FlowRider, waterslides, rock climbing wall, mini golf, laser tag, and sports court were impressive. Throughout the cruise, there were soccer games, volleyball tournaments, pickleball, and open play. We spent quite a bit of time watching and participating. One fun little secret, since we were staying in a junior suite, we discovered the outdoor suite's sun deck. Technically, junior suites don't really have access, but nobody bothered us when we sat up there to watch the volleyball games. There were only a handful of people up there, and everyone was really nice. It ended up being one of our favorite little hidden spots. The food was one of the highlights of this sailing. Windjammer was consistently excellent. I especially loved their Indian food. The main dining room was outstanding. The waitstaff was attentive, friendly, and eager to make things right. If something wasn't cooked properly, they immediately corrected it. We don't normally eat at specialty restaurants, so we didn't try Jamie's Italian or Izumi. But honestly, we never felt like we were missing out. On ships like Mariner, I sometimes think the food becomes even more important because there aren't endless attractions competing for your attention. And Royal Caribbean absolutely delivered. We'd give the food a 9 out of 10. Entertainment was another strong area. The ice show was fantastic. The production show featured talented singers, dancers, and musicians. We stopped by the Bamboo Room, which is something you don't find on many ships. Even though we didn't spend much time in there, it really adds personality to the ship. Nighttime activities were lively and there was always something going on. Let's talk about the casino. The biggest downside is the smoke. Because the casino is relatively small, there really isn't an effective separation between smoking and non-smoking areas. Honestly, trying to separate smoking and non-smoking sections in a small casino is like having a peeing section in a swimming pool. Everything mixes together, and honestly, I think it's kind of gross. I personally bring a little battery-powered fan with me. Whenever someone sits right next to me and lights up, I quietly turn on the fan and blow the smoke away from my area. That's my strategy. The casino itself is smaller than many newer ships, and to be honest, we didn't have our best luck on this sailing, but that's life. Overall, we had a great time, and the service staff and the waiters and bartenders in the casino were amazing. Interestingly, there weren't that many kids on board during our sailing. The crowd skewed middle-aged to a little bit older, which honestly suited us just fine. Families still have plenty to do, but I suspect many families are choosing Oasis-class or Icon-class ships these days. Things are starting to show their age. This is where I want to be honest. Our junior suite was clean, but the furniture was tired. The couch looked worn and honestly bordered on appearing dirty simply because of how old it was. The decor is definitely dated, there are fewer specialty restaurants, and the pool deck is smaller than the newer ships. But none of these things ruined our experience. It's just something that I wanted to make note of. They simply reminded us that this is a 20-plus-year-old ship. Another area that actually impressed us was the fitness center. For a ship that entered service in 2003, the gym was excellent. The cardio machines face forward, so while you're on the treadmill or elliptical, you're looking straight out of the front of the ship. There's just something special about working out while watching the ocean and seeing where you're headed. The equipment itself was modern and well maintained. There were plenty of treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, free weights, and resistance machines. And during our cruise, the gym was never crowded. We never had to wait for equipment, which was a nice surprise. But honestly, one of my favorite things about Mariner of the Seas has nothing to do with the gym. It's actually the lower promenade deck. This is something I absolutely love about Voyager class and Freedom class ships. You can walk all the way around the ship on the outside. You can even go up to the bow near the helipad. On sea days, it's not uncommon for us to walk 2 to 5 miles, and for me, that's one of the most relaxing parts of cruising. I would much rather be outside with the fresh air, ocean views, and the sound of the waves than staring at a treadmill. And what's interesting is that many newer ships actually don't have this feature. For example, the Quantum class ships like Odyssey of the Seas, Anthem of the Seas, and Ovation of the Seas don't have a lower promenade deck that wraps all the way around the ship. So while those ships have many modern features, they're missing one of my favorite places to walk. It's one of those things you don't think about until it's gone. And honestly, it's one of the reasons I continue to love ships like Mariner of the Seas. For me, staying active on this ship gets an 8.5 out of 10. So after spending 4 nights aboard Mariner of the Seas, what did we think? Honestly, we really enjoyed this ship. No, it's not the newest ship in the fleet. It's not trying to compete with Icon or some of the larger Oasis-class ships. And yes, there are definitely areas where you can tell she's over 20 years old. Some of the furniture's dated, there aren't as many specialty restaurants, and the pool deck and public spaces are naturally smaller than what you'll find on the megaships. But what Mariner of the Seas does, I think it does really well. The food was excellent, the crew was wonderful, the entertainment was strong. The Royal Promenade still has a lot of charm, and there was always something happening, whether sports, live music, trivia, or just the atmosphere around the ship. I also loved that Mariner still feels like a ship. I love that outdoor promenade deck. I love being able to walk all the way around the ship and get some steps in while enjoying the ocean breeze. Those simple things are part of what makes cruising so relaxing for me. There was one part of this cruise we didn't love, and that was getting off the ship. Disembarkation took forever. We got in line around 8 in the morning, and it took nearly 40 minutes just standing there to get off. I'm not entirely sure what was going on. Maybe we picked the wrong line. Maybe getting people off was taking much longer than they had expected. Or maybe everybody just decided to leave at the same time, but whatever the reason, the line moved painfully slowly. And we were getting nervous because we had a bus transfer to the airport scheduled for 8:45 a.m. And by the time we finally got off the ship, we barely made it. Thankfully, everything worked out, but it definitely added some stress to the end of what had been otherwise a really relaxing vacation. If you have pre-arranged transportation waiting for you, give yourself plenty of time. I'd also recommend carrying your own luggage off the ship instead of leaving it outside your cabin the night before. And I would try to get off as early as possible, because on this sailing, disembarkation moved much more slowly than we expected. Now, to be fair, this may have just been an unusual day. We've had plenty of cruises where getting off the ship was quick and easy, but on this particular sailing, disembarkation was probably the biggest negative of the entire experience. Nobody wants the last memory of their vacation to be standing in a line wondering if they're going to miss their ride to the airport. Ships like Mariner remind us that you don't need the biggest and newest ship in the world to have an amazing vacation. I would happily sail her again, absolutely. And I think for shorter cruises, couples, first-timers, and people who appreciate the classic Royal Caribbean experience, Mariner of the Seas still offers tremendous value and a really enjoyable vacation. And after this sailing, I walked away thinking that this old ship still has plenty of life in her. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you sailed on Mariner of the Seas? What's your favorite part about this ship? If I missed something that you absolutely love, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'm sure future cruisers watching this video would appreciate your tips as well. As always, thank you so much for watching Travel with Tony and Nick, and if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future cruise adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.